So we're going to determine if the inverse is a function. Okay, the notation for an inverse of a relation is written as R with this little -1 notation, a subscript. I don't know, I guess it's kind of like an exponent, but it's not. This means the inverse of R. This is super simple though. To find the inverse of a relation, you just switch, we'll do this today and tomorrow, switch the X and Y values. So when we talk about the word inverse, you guys know some inverses already. You use inverses to solve equations. What is the inverse of addition? Subtraction. What is the inverse of multiplication? There's operations that undo one another. So if I switch the X and Y values, I am undoing, or I'm going the opposite way. Here's the confusing part of today is what does it mean to be one-to-one? It says a function has to be one-to-one, or sorry, a function has one-to-one relations if the relation and its inverse are functions, okay? What that means is that if I have the original function and then I get the inverse, both of them have to be functions, and then it can be, again, one-to-one is what we're talking about. So in order to be one-to-one, it has to have, okay, here's how I'm going to explain this. One-to-one means that it has only one path forward. Each X has to go to one Y. Only one Y. Only one path forward and only one path back. So X goes to one Y, Y goes to one X. Has to go both ways for it to be one-to-one, which means that both the function, the original function, and the inverse have to be functions. Okay. For both the original relation and the inverse. So we'll go look at some examples. Most of these that we see today are not one-to-one. It's kind of hard to be a one-to-one function, to be honest. So here you have your original relation R, and we're going to write the inverse in a second. Let's first decide, though, if you could look at R. So 1, -2, 2, 4, 3, -1, 4, -2. Is that a function? Does every X go to only one Y? Which one? Well, every X. Do you see any repeated X values? No. So this is a yes. R is a function. What you're seeing, the repeated Y values, is going to cause the inverse to not be a function. So this is the easy part today. To find the inverse, you just switch the X and Y values. So 1, -2 becomes -2, 1. 2, 4 becomes 4, 2. 3, -1 becomes -1, 3. 4, -2 becomes -2, 4. Oh, it's so much better than simplifying radicals, isn't it? Okay, and so now we're asking, is that a function? No, sir. Who's the problem? -2. I will highlight him. -2, 1. So -2 goes to 1, -2 goes to 4. Meaning that the inverse, so the original was a function, yes. But this one is not. So that's a no. Is it going to work here? I hope I write that. Okay, no. So because what that means is that you had one path forward, but do you have one path back? No. So -2 ends up going two different places. So is it one-to-one? No. Okay, they would both have to be functions in order for it to be one-to-one, which is not going to happen very much today. Okay, let's try the next one. Look at number 2, 1, 5, 1, 6, 3, -4, 4, 9. Is that a function? No. Who's the problem? 1's the problem. 1 has 2 outputs. That's not a highlighter. 1, 5. And 1 also goes to 6. Bob's with Mary, Bob's with Sarah. No, bad idea, Bob. Okay. No. Now let's look at the inverse. So you already know it's not going to be one-to-one because The original was not a function, but let's go ahead and carry on. Okay, is the inverse a function? Now flip-flop. 5, 1. So you did not have one path forward. We're seeing if we have one path back. Go in the other direction, -4, 3. I'm just switching these, 9, 4. 5 goes to 1, 6 goes to 1, -4, 3, 9 to 4. Is that a function? Every x goes to only one y. Yes. Yeah, you're looking at the x values. The original is, so r was not a function. Our inverse was, is it 1 to 1? No, it has to be yes for both. Because you had one path back, you do not have one path forward. So far we're a no for both. Okay, now we're going to look at this guy. Looking at the map, remember that's what that's called. Is this a function? Yes. Okay. Does each x go to only one y? 0 goes to 6 and 11 goes to 6. Are they both going to exactly one y? Yes. It's a problem when you reverse it the other way. Okay, so this is yes. For r as a function, yes it is. Watch what happens when you flip it if you reverse this. I got some space, so I'm going to draw a new map. 0, 1, 8, 11. So now this will become x, and this become y. Now we'll draw a new little map here. So -5's got nothing. 2 would go to 1. 6 would go to 0. 6 would go to 11. Is that a function? No, this is the problem when 6 goes to 2 places. So that's what causes it to not be a function. No. To write that as a set of points, you would only put the pairs that go together. You can also see it here, right? 2, 1, 6, 0, 6, 11. It's 6, that's the problem, but only when you take the path back for the inverse, okay? Inverse meaning like to undo it. So 6 goes to 0, 6 goes to 11. This is the problem that's causing it to not be a function and therefore causing it to not be 1 to 1 because you had one path forward. I know they're going the same place, but it was one path. You don't have one path back. Okay. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, so 1 to 1. To be 1 to 1, it has to be yes for both. This is on the next page as well. 1 to 1.
What's the 1 to 1?
It must, so it means that's the one path forward, one path back. Must be yes, a function for both the original and the inverse. You go to see it on graphs on the next page. I know that that's confusing. Last thing. Horizontal line test. I'm not really going to talk about the horizontal line test, at least not right now. What I want you to remember is that the vertical line test is used, remember you draw lines, to decide if a relation is a function when you're given a graph. You can decide if the inverse is a function by doing the horizontal line test. That's confusing for the current moment, so just pause on that. But this is used to determine if the inverse is a function. Okay, and this is what we talked about on the previous page. That's important. You can highlight it or something. Both the relation and the inverse must be a function in order to be a one-to-one function. You have to have yes for both. Yes, the original is a function. Yes, my inverse is a function. That means one path forward, one path back. It's one-to-one. What we're going to do first is we're going to graph these inverses so you can see them, and then we'll talk about why the horizontal line test works, but it's confusing if I do that off the bat. So we're going to draw first the line of reflection. Because you switch the x and y values for an inverse, that's all you do, right? You swap. That gives you a reflection over this line. Do you know what that line is? Y equals x. Y equals x. If you recall from geometry, when you reflect over the line y equals x, your x and y values switch. You can do this without writing anything down. You can do it visually. If you're someone who's not great at that, then it's helpful to write down the coordinates. So that's what I'm going to do because, to be honest, I'm not great at it. But we're going to pull these 4 points. I'm going to label them because it gets less confusing if I do that. So I'm just going to write down what 4 points we have, and then in a second what you're going to see is the inverse is because you switch the x and y, it makes a mirror image over that line. So A is at -2, 4. What's B? B is at currently 0, 1. C is currently at 3, 3, and D is at 5, 3. To get the inverse, what do? Flip it. That's all. So I'll do my inverse in blue, just like I did on the front. So if I switch these coordinates real quick, then I would get, I'm not going to call it A prime. We're not going to go that geometry on us, okay? We're going to say 4, -2, 1, 0. I'm sure Mr. Murphy would be proud, though, if we did. 3, 3. And if I switch those ones, I get 3, 5. Are you with me there? All I did was flip-flop. Now graph those points, okay? Which again, you could do this by counting squares. Like if you can eyeball it and tell where the point needs to go, that's fine too. But you're gonna see the mirror image, right? So I don't know why I started with B. That was B. Sorry, 4, -2, 1, 0, 3, 3. That one's on the line, so that's why it didn't move. And then 3, 5. And you're gonna see this lovely little inverse graph is here. Aww. Do you see how it's a mirror image? It's beautiful, okay? What's it say? So use the graph of f of x to graph the inverse. You did a reflection. Determine if it's a one-to-one function. Okay, remember it has to be a function for both. So we're gonna check both of these. If I do the vertical line test on this guy, does it pass? Yeah, the one in black passes. If I do the vertical line test, however, on the next one, the inverse, does it pass? No, he fails. Okay, so the original was a function. Was the inverse? No, because it has 2 outputs. So is it one-to-one? No. We did the line test, yeah.
So, could you just check the,
Can't you just check the coordinates?
yeah.
Sure. That's what I'm about to talk about. Okay. It's not one-to-one because the inverse is not a function.
It's not one-to-one, or could you just say it's not?
I'm explaining it right now because these are notes. I probably won't ask you why. Okay. Here's what the horizontal line test says. It says that you can know if the inverse is going to be a function without actually graphing it. Because if I draw a horizontal line, it's just going to get flipped. So obviously, if I draw a horizontal line, then when I do the inverse and it makes a mirror image, then the vertical line wouldn't work either. That's all that says, okay? If that confuses you, then just graph the inverse and check and see if it's a function. They both have to be functions in order for it to be one-to-one. All right, draw your little line of reflection on the next one so you see it. There you go. And to be an inverse, you can do this visually, or you can jot down some coordinates. I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to pick 5 here, which I guess I'll go ahead and label because I'm feeling pretty geometry today. Okay, so A, what even is that? Is that -2, 4? -2, 4. B is at -1, 1. C is at the origin at 0, 0. D is at 1, 1 on the line. And E is 2, 4. You don't have to pick all the points. You notice I didn't take the ones at the top because that should be enough, okay, to get a rough sketch. It's going to make a mirror image. Can you kind of imagine what it's going to look like?
The opposite.
I'm just going to make a sideways parabola, which you're going to see in just a second. So the original, is this one a function?
No.
If I draw vertical lines through that, is it a function? Yeah. But if I graph the inverse, you're going to see do you see how this fails the horizontal line test?
Yes.
It's going to fail the horizontal line test, which tells me that it's going to, when I graph the inverse in a second, it would also fail the vertical line test on the inverse. If that's confusing for you, then just graph the inverse and see what it looks like, and I think you're going to see, well, it's going to fail. Okay, so 4, -2, 1, -1. C stays the same, so is D, and E is at 4, 2. Okay, graph those little points, and you should see a fun little sideways parabola. Oh, look at that. Which hopefully makes sense because it's a mirror image over that line. You probably maybe already knew, like, okay, when I flip this sideways, then it's going to not pass the vertical line test because, duh, it overlaps itself, okay? But if you draw a vertical line through that, you can see that it's going to fail, which is the same reason it fails a horizontal line test before you flip it, okay? Yes. Yeah, if you can just do this visually and like know where it's going to land, that's fine. So is it 1-to-1? No, again, so we've seen exactly none. Not 1-to-1. Because which one failed, or which one's not a function? Yeah, the inverse is not a function again.